in the hills above Glendale. Yep.
Looks like
it's all come to a stop. There's the pickup right over the roof line there. You see the door of the driver's door of the CHP unit is open. So right now what they're doing is they're very loudly, either through the PA system coming off the grill of the police cruiser, or just verbally yelling for the person inside to open the door, usually from the outside. They want them to use the outside handle. Door is open. And then they're going to be asking that person to get out hands first with their hands up. There are 2 CHP units there. There are 3 officers, all with guns drawn. There are 3 units there, I should say.
All right, this is perhaps the most dangerous aspect of the pursuit for those officers involved. So we're going to pull the camera out a little bit and let you know that this originally came in as some sort of medical emergency, a call for a medical emergency. And when the officers showed up, this guy in the pickup truck took off, now wanted for a failure to yield, but he has pulled over in this neighborhood in Glendale Park, and the officers are right there. They've got their guns aimed at him, so hopefully he'll do the right thing and cooperate.
Interesting that the call would be a medical emergency coming in. It'd be interesting to hear how that came in. There was also a question about whether or not there might have been a language barrier in trying to communicate with the person in the pickup. It's kind of a tough area here because, you see, the officers who have their guns drawn are not just worried about who is in the truck or what may be in the truck, but the background, in other words, to the right of that truck. That's where the officers have to be concerned about, because if they were to have to use their weapons, they have to worry about where those bullets could land. And those are homes on the other side of that truck. Interesting area for that person to drive.
Right. So if you're watching this and you say, hey, that's my neighborhood, this is going on right outside, maybe you hear the helicopters overhead, do not go outside right now. In fact, stay inside, get away from the windows and doors. This is live television. We don't know what's going to happen right now. All we know is that there's somebody in that pickup truck who wanted to get away from law enforcement. This is the end of the pursuit. Looks like officers are making their move around that car. Again, they will use that door as protection. They don't know if the person inside that pickup truck has a weapon or not. But they do know at this point he's not cooperating, because by this time they would have already told him to get out of the vehicle.
1 officer, now 2 moving up slowly. I think they're worried that the person's incapacitated, may not have been able to get out of the car. Maybe that person needs help more than his...
Oh, he's taking off. Shut the door and just took off. It looked like that officer on the left was using a rifle with the yellow on it. That signifies a less than lethal weapon. But boy, he is squeezing through the streets right there to force that other guy out of the way. Yeah. Okay, so a very dangerous situation. Obviously not complying with the officer's orders to come out of the truck with his hands up. And he's back on the roads again, so things have changed. Those officers are going to be back in their cars, and they'll be right after him.
Well, the CHP helicopter and/or Glendale helicopter is overhead, so whether the CHP has lost a little time or not, they'll catch up with him, or they'll meet him along the way.
Looks like they're right there again, right behind him, Jeff.
Exactly, and there you just caught a little glimpse underneath our helicopter of the police helicopter, which flies only about, anywhere between 500 to 750 feet off the ground. Hey, maybe we can get a better location there. It looks like we're pulling, is that part of Forest Lawn?
No, it looks like it could be on the left side there, right?
Yeah, so it'd be interesting.
Oh, very close to that blue car. These are narrow streets, and these people have no idea what's coming at them. But again, we get a look in inside the cab of that truck, just a little peek there, and we see it looks like just one person in the vehicle as far as we can tell.
Now, if you're just joining us, we're only about maybe 10 minutes into a pursuit of that gray pickup that pulled over in the Glendale Park area. Left the door open, almost as if the person needed help. And then when 2 police officers, California Highway Patrolmen, walked up with their guns drawn but pointed down at the ground, they slowly walked up, and that's where the driver apparently was startled and then took off before even shutting the door, and now is finding himself a little bit pinned in a residential area.
Yeah, it looks like he might be on his cell phone. He's lifting
well, look at the green car right in front of him.
Yeah, and it looks like that's a truck, and it's facing him. So what's going to happen here? Boy, I hope there's nobody in that pickup truck.
Now the door's back open.
And shut again. This guy doesn't know what he wants to do, but obviously the person in that green truck is not moving. He's going to try and squeeze through there. Just unbelievable, and it looks like it worked. He's going to get away. Looks like he was on the cell phone when he stopped right there. He had something up to his ear anyway, and driving with his right hand, looked like talking, using his left hand to talk on the phone. But somebody in that green truck, either on purpose or just by accident, pinned him in, but he did manage to squeeze through.
All right, according to the California Highway Patrol, new information we're getting is that the driver himself called 911 and said he needed medical attention and has been on the phone with 911 the whole time. So technically they're saying it's not a pursuit. I'm not exactly sure what you call it when somebody says they need help, but then they run away from the help that they've called for. So this is really one of the more curious things. It could be a case where maybe there's a little bit of a psychological incapacity here. Maybe the person is disturbed, doesn't understand maybe what's happening.
And in this case, CHP officers will tell you that oftentimes the person in that, is that green truck following him?
That's a well, forgive me for using it, it's a plumbing truck. I think I saw Reuter on the side.
So this is the truck that
he's angry at him. Look, he's waving his arm out the driver door.
Or perhaps it's somebody who knows him,
saying, "Hey, you just hit my truck," because he did scrape it when he went by. So I think the guy in the commercial vehicle there is probably upset that he's going to have to tell his boss that he got into an accident, so he wants to pull this guy over. But I don't think he realizes.
Wouldn't you see the officers behind you and think, hey, let them handle it? I'm not going after this guy. And now we've got another car in front of him, so we'll see what happens there. But they're driving very slow. This is a residential area. These are very narrow streets, hard to squeak by, but he's managed to do it on at least 2 or 3 occasions. So you were talking, Jeff, about the medical call, and often CHP officers will tell you that the person sometimes doesn't know what they want to do. They're just trying to make up their mind on how they're going to end this, and maybe making some phone calls to say, I'm in trouble, let me try and figure this out. But as you said, he's been on the phone with CHP, made a 911 call, and then talking to the dispatchers. We think
we're actually east of the 5 and probably north of the 2 in the Atwater Village area now. So he's kind of been moving. This would be kind of San Fernando Road, Fletcher, Glendale Boulevard. There's an area, this is not far from Forest Lawn, which is what I was kind of noticing when I saw those grave markers earlier on. But when you see him getting in the kind of those twist and turn areas, that's where you can tell that they tend to be moving uphill.
So right side of your screen, that's the squeeze play we were talking about just a few minutes ago, that green truck there.
Yeah, I didn't really seem to hit the truck. If he did, maybe barely scraped it. All right,
I don't think...
Now the man is out of the car.
Okay.
Just kind of gingerly walking into a home.
Looked like he might have something in his right hand.
Well, doesn't look like he's all that concerned or in a hurry.
I'm trying to figure out if he might be familiar with this area, that if perhaps that's somebody's home that he knows, but he seems to, here comes the green truck again, and we don't know who's in that truck or if they're just going to continue on. Maybe they're just trying to, at this point, get out of the area. But again, we've got not a suspect. This is a person who made a medical call to 911, said they needed some sort of medical attention, and then CHP got involved, and this is where we stand right now. This is Atwater Village after going on the 210, the 2 freeway into the Glendale Park area. Now he's out of the vehicle. He was in that gray truck you see right there on the left side of your screen. Got out. He's in dark colored shirt and shorts and just kind of walked into the house. And officers right there as well. We'll see how this one ends. The green truck has stopped.
The green truck with the guy with the green shirt. I think he's probably either called police or called his boss and said, "Hey, I'm outside this guy's house. He scraped my car," which is the least of the concerns. It's also interesting, Sandra, as you had said, the CHP was right behind him and made the decision to pull back because they'd be there now if they wanted to.
Right. We already know it's a medical emergency, but we're not sure what it is. So he didn't look like he was injured in any way, so perhaps this is something to do with mental health. Is that people I see on that roof on the right side of the screen, the bottom right? It looks like somebody up on the roof.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, right above the blue banner.
Probably not a good idea because we don't know what the situation is right now. We only know that somebody who didn't want anything to do with the police out of their vehicle and somehow hiding out in this neighborhood. Yeah.
Guy in the green shirt.
He's saying he's right there. He's right there.
And the CHP is saying, "Yeah, we know. Probably saying, "All right, sir, why don't you get back in your car and let us go ahead and figure this out."
Obviously, they don't think this is an extremely dangerous situation, because otherwise they would get that guy out of the way, and he's just casually walking around as well.
So this is one of those situations where, you know, the CHP will tell you anytime they get involved in something like this, they really don't know what could transpire. It's easy for us to say, all right, it was just a guy who needs medical attention. Maybe there's no problem here, but you don't really know what this person is going to do when they won't stop for police. And boy, that's a mighty big house if that's a single-family dwelling. I don't know, or I don't know if it's an apartment building, but he walked in through that gate and then appeared to just kind of disappear down the steps there. See how how it goes downstairs?
Right
there. Went past the trash can. So now they have to decide, all right, do we walk in and knock on the door not knowing if this guy is either a danger to himself or to us? At this point...
Yeah, we know they've been on the phone with him, right? He called the 911 dispatcher and was in communication with, been on the phone apparently throughout the duration of, we can't call it a pursuit. They're saying it's not a pursuit, it's just a failure to yield. So hopefully they'll communicate with him. Sometimes they'll bring in the dogs, the canine units, and try and get him out that way. Other times they will use their negotiators, and they'll bring somebody out either on the phone or directly to the scene and try to talk them out, make sure nobody gets hurt, including the person that they've been following.
Wish we could tell you more about this, guys. We're trying to figure it out as well. We can tell you that he is in Atwater Village. He's on the corner of Weldon and Drew was the last location that we got. Which is just north of Fletcher. Fletcher's a very popular cut-through between the 2 and the 5 if you want to get into Los Feliz. And at this point, only one California Highway Patrol unit on scene, probably looking. See the box on your right? That's really the last place he was where he could have stopped, could have gotten out, but instead he backs up and then he squeezes right between those two cars. Now, I'm not sure if the rooter truck, the plumbing truck, could have backed up or not, but he didn't. Because that palm tree was, I think he could have backed up.
Yeah, not only did he not back up, but then he started following the guy.
Then he chased him.
Yeah, he was waving his arm out the window like, hey, pull over, pull over. And we don't know why. We don't know if this is someone who knows that person in the pickup truck or just somebody that maybe just got a little bit angry because he came too close to, or as you said, Jeff, might have scraped that truck.
You know, also, if this, and I believe this is in the city of Los Angeles, so this would be the LAPD's Northeast Division, this is a time where the CHP, and by the way, their regional offices are only a mile and a half away in Glendale. They're probably going to get on the phone to Northeast and say, all yours. We're pretty much done with the freeway problem here. Now, there's a neighbor talking, look, the woman you see there next to the silver car, probably talking to the officer and, you know, maybe saying, yes, I know this guy, or whether or not she does, trying to get some information to the police. And they're trying to get some information to find out whether this is a person who needs their help or whether this is a person who could, you know, be a problem to his neighbors.
She also might be able to give them information about the people inside this, whether it's a home or an apartment, whether they're usually home at this time of day. Perhaps they've already left for work, so she can tell them maybe how many people are there, how many people live there, and maybe the layout of that house and the grounds around it. I would expect that they've got people not only in front of this house right now, but also in the back as well, although it's kind of hard to see, a lot of trees out there.
Yeah, so I think it's at this point, if there's no pressing reason, if they're not getting a call that anybody is being threatened, if they're not getting a call that this person is doing anything that is dangerous, there's really no, you know, reason to run in.
All right, so we've got a little bit of a standoff situation here in Atwater Village. This is Weldon and Drew, where a person who was being followed by CHP is now out of the vehicle. If you've been watching on CBS 2, we're going to send you back to regular programming right now.
And we will stay with you on KCAL. All right, so police officers talking to who appear to be neighbors, just trying to get some information, to try to figure out why they are, why they have followed a guy in a pickup truck all the way up into the Atwater Village area, into a neighborhood. And this, we're trying to remember, it started actually kind of in the same area. It didn't really leave the area of the 5 and the 2, you know, and it would be interesting to understand why this man called 911 to begin with. We don't want to drag this out if there's no pressing reason to. For those of you in the Glendale, Atwater Village area, doesn't seem that there's a danger, but at least you know this is going on in your neighborhood and you can be aware.
All right, so we're going to wrap up our coverage right now. Of course, we'll have the very latest on this pursuit suspect out of the truck and in this neighborhood at Weldon and Drew. We'll have the very latest on our CBS 2 News at 11 a.m. We'll see you then.
This has been a KCAL 9 News special report. We now return to our regularly scheduled program.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I visited the neighborhood, like I said, about a year ago.
Right.
There was a vacant lot adjacent to her property. I liked the look of the neighborhood. I went kind of door to door talking with the neighbors, seeing what it was like, if it would be a good place to live. So yeah, we met.
So it's on a hill overlooking the ocean?
Yes, it's his house looking
Right.
over the hill.
But
beautiful
it's
ocean.
next to a vacant lot?